Well, hello and welcome to Viking Park in Erindale, the penultimate round of the Griffith Legal John Dent Cup 2018 season. It's Brett McKay with you for Bar TV Sports. We're back at Erindale with minor premiers Tuggeranong taking on Gungahlin in the Hans Super Dry Griffin Legal John Dent Cup preliminary final. Joining me today in commentary is Ryan Murphy from the Brumbies. And Ryan, it's a little bit grey. The clouds are drawing in. The Bureau of Meteorology radar tells us that we could get wet any time here, but this is going to be a cracking contest either way.
Yeah, absolutely. Mother Nature coming into play even before kickoff, and it's hard to know who that might favour. Perhaps the Eagles, I think, with Vikings weapons outside. But yeah, the tension's certainly starting to rise here as we approach kickoff. Going to be a great game. Yeah,
absolutely. It really is. Last weekend, the Vikings were trumped by Royals in the major semi-final. They lost that game 26-20, with the Royals waiting for the winner of today's game in next weekend's grand final. In the minor semi-final last Sunday, got the Eagles' fairy tale season continued, beating Union North 27 points to 17, and it sets up this mouth-watering contest that we have today. It's the side's third meeting of 2018, and round two it was Tuggeranong 66 to 24 at Gungahlin, and round 12 the Vikings up again 31 points to 21 at Viking Park. But that doesn't matter now, Ryan, does it? It's all on the line for both sides today. There is literally nothing left to lose for either side.
No, and that's it. I think in a normal game of this magnitude and at this stage, it would be just a 50-50. But really, if you look at this and in the history of the comp and all that, this is a free shot for Gungahlin, and this is a must-win for Tuggeranong. They were the minor premiers. They were the best side all year and just couldn't get the job done last week. For the Eagles, they were sitting last in round 9. So to be sitting here with one win away from a grand final, it's a free shot for them, and they can just go out and play with freedom. Tuggeranong probably heavy favourites here today. Can they get the job done? Will they hold up? Will they seize up under the pressure?
That would certainly be the expectation. You would think Gungahlin have won their last 4 straight. They're on a great roll. They've had a bye in the middle of all that as well. But as I say, the fairy tale season just continues. And I mean, who would have thought a month ago that we'd be in this situation where the Eagles are playing in a preliminary final?
I think. Well, probably nobody. But having said that, had you watched those last few rounds, you would have seen that there was quality brewing in the nest, and I think they come in today knowing that they've got quality. It's not the case of they've snuck in and done it the hard way. They put in some really good performances in those last couple of games, and last week they were perfect for 60 minutes. A really bad last 20 and a spirited effort from the Ales to come back in that last 20.
It was probably a good thing that we weren't playing for 90 minutes because it's
81 minutes, I think, Brett, honestly.
The Eagles looked like they were really out in their last legs. There's been some cracking rugby played at Viking Park already today. We can tell you in the Div 1 second grade that it was Tuggeranong beating Queanbeyan 28-24, and they'll play RMC in the grand final next weekend. In Div 1 first grade, Ad for 50 have beaten Royals 22, and they'll go on to play Tuggeranong next weekend. In Colts, Queanbeyan 20 beat Gungahlin 17, and they'll also play Tuggeranong in the Colts grand final next weekend. In the women's preliminary final, Union North 29 beat Royals 17. And that's a little bit of a boil over. I've got to say, Royals were heavily favoured, I think, today going into that game, and so Union North, they'll play the Tuggeranong Vikings next weekend as well. So second grade, though, Ryan, was an absolute thriller, wasn't it? Tuggeranong have got up 30 points to 29, a try after the full-time bell, and they've won through by a point. Yeah, Vikings the other side of the headlines this week. Buzzer beating try just after the 80 had struck, and I think Royals will be kicking themselves. They had that game sewn up, scored a really good try with a couple of minutes to go, and their scrum just let them down, and they gave Vikings a chance, and they took it really well. Yeah, Tuggeranong will play Queanbeyan next weekend in the second grade grand final. So Tuggeranong, it's been a fantastic day for them today, a preliminary final day. They've won through to 5 grand finals next weekend with the women's side in there as well. Some team news, Ryan. We can tell you that the Vikings, and we'll go from the top, Sione Towler and Liam McGrath comes in at tight head in there with Michael Henry at hooker. So Liam McGrath the change. Darcy Swain, Callum Smith, Michael Oakman Hunt at blindside flanker. Luke Gersakowski moves from number 8 to open side. Joey Vivoda missing today, but Ben Hine comes into number 8, and he's just re-signed with the Brumbies for another 12 months. That's a great inclusion. It's probably one out, one in for Vikings in that pack. They'll be without Angus Wagner, who's had an absolute outstanding season at tight head, the young prop, and he's a big loss for them at tight head, particularly with a strong
front row pairing for the Eagles, but Lee McGrath, an experienced campaigner, and he'll do a job there at tight end.
Has played plenty of rugby at this level,
absolutely,
hasn't he?
and of course Ben Hine coming in, just re-signed with the Brumbies. He's come off an ACL reconstruction, and he's frothing it. He's ready for this, and he's waiting for it. He can't wait.
Very keen to go. Talking to him on Thursday when he announced his re-signing, he was itching to get back on the field again. The rest of the Viking side: Ryan Lonigan at scrum half. Noel Alessio starts at number 10 today. Isaac Thompson is going to be a little bit of a loss there, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely in terms of experience, but I think Noah he looks really sharp last week. Really good young player, and I thought they looked a little bit more dynamic with him in attack when he did come onto the park for Thompson last week. So perhaps a little bit of loss of game management, but losing nothing in attack with Noah at 10.
Certainly not. JP Minart and Andrew Robinson on the wings. Great to see Robbo get through 80 minutes last week. Jordan Jackson Hope and young Len Ikitau in the centres. Brendan Tiyuki, the fullback. For the Eagles, it's an unchanged 15, which is a fantastic way to come into a preliminary final.
Absolutely. They probably would have hoped for one change, and that would have been Faranui Huera to come into 10, but no luck. But Josh Gillard was absolutely outstanding in the first half last week, so they'll be happy enough with their cohort, and as you say, everyone healthy and ready to go.
So Ray Dobson and Nick Dobson, the props, with Alex Small up front with them. Jake Helgeson and Mark Bartholow, the locks. BJ Edwards, Sam O'Leary and Rocky Ilolahi at number 8. BJ Edwards last week was our Vodafone man of the match in the minor semi-final. He's got a brand spanking new set of wireless Samsung headphones, which of course is why we play the game, but he was brilliant.
He was absolutely outstanding, the standout player by a mile, and for him, this is the games he's going to relish. He's got, some guys there in that Vikings team that he's matching himself up with and measuring himself against, the likes of Darcy Swain and Ben Hine, guys that play the game at his level, and he'll come here, he'll want to make a statement, he'll want to win for his new club that he's really taken to, and I've kind of won over his heart as well as the Eagles have accepted him into their family. But he's going to be key for Eagles. I think as he goes, the Eagles go, and I'm just looking to see where he stands in the line-out. It's going to be a real battle between Swain, Hine and Edwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
At that set piece time.
The blindside battle between Michael Oakman Hunt and Edwards.
We didn't even mention him. Michael Oakman Hunt is such quality. We didn't even mention him. But that says a lot about the Vikings starting.
And even last Saturday against Royals, we didn't mention Michael Oakman Hunt a lot, but my goodness, he got through some work, didn't he? So he'll be in for a big game. The rest of Gungahlin side: Mitch Ward and Josh Gillard in the halves, Eli Sonotti and Jamie Kotz on the wings, Mitch Conley and Luke Duffy holds his spot. Matt Hawke, he's done for the season, didn't get up after going down in the warm-up last weekend.
Yeah, as it appears so anyway, as we talk here now. But I thought Luke Duffy went really well there at 13. But a special mention for inside him, Mitch Conley just stepped up a lot as a leader, particularly in that first half. He took a bit of pressure off Luke and off Gillard and came in at first receiver at times. So he'll again have to be at his best if Eagles are going to have a crack here today.
Mac Hansen is the Gungahlin fullback, and it rounds out the two teams. The battle of the benches, I think today, Ryan, is going to be really interesting. The Gungahlin bench comes in with the benefit of not having played second grade. We've just got the team sheets from Tuggeranong, and there'll be more than a few of their guys on the bench have just got off a really hard 80 minutes of second grade as well. So I think how the two coaches, Nick Scrivener for Tuggeranong and Dan Atkins for Gungahlin, how they use their bench and when they use their bench will be key.
Yeah, having said that, of course, Oscar Cunningham, Tom Ross, Matt Clifton, those guys were all involved. They were all involved in the Colts prelim final, which of course, they got a little bit of a rest, able to get some food on board and recover. But expect those guys, if anyone off that bench, to have a real impact. I think
some good young names for Tuggeranong and their bench too. Lachlan Lonergan at hooker, Seamus Smith, the young scrum half, Joey Vivoda, who played here of course last weekend. He's not starting today, but he'll be a big impact off the bench, no doubt.
Definitely, I think look for him to come on around the 60-minute mark. I would imagine that perhaps Ben Hine might look to put in a big shift for 60 maybe. Well, I mean, this is crunch time. They won't want him off the pitch unless he absolutely has to, but certainly an able replacement in Vivoda. Love to see Lachlan Lonergan there at hooker. He's one of the best young players in the ACT, and for a guy that age and this level of experience to be ready to play this level, it's amazing, and he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Good luck to him indeed. So we can see a lengthy Gungahlin Eagles tunnel guard of honour being made down there. The Vikings are pretty well represented down there as well, but we're only minutes away from kick-off here at Viking Park down in Gungahlin. Down in Tuggeranong, I beg your pardon. It's Brett McKay and Ryan Murphy with you on the Hahn Superdry preliminary final day here. It's the John I. Dent Cup, the Griffin Legal John I. Dent Cup 2018 season. And out come the Vikings, led by their lock, Callum Smith. The long flowing locks of Callum Smith. Andrew Robinson running out there beside him, and we mentioned Ryan. It was just great to see Robbo back on the park last week.
It was.
He was a bit worried beforehand, not so much about his knee, but about the lungs. But he got through 80 and he played really, really well.
Yeah, he did. He was solid and probably didn't get enough pill as most of those outside backs didn't last week. It was a feature last week of, frustrated Lenny Ikitau, frustrated Jordan Jackson-Hope did the Royals, and that'll be key for the Eagles again, for those not to... you can't focus on too many small points like that. You've just got to play your own game. But if they can frustrate Jackson Hope, Ikitau, Tiki there at fullback, it's going to go a long way.
Brendan Tiki, the leading point scorer in the competition. We didn't see a lot of him last week, did we? It was a credit to Royals' defence.
And typically him, he still scored a try. That's just how his season's gone, really. He seems to get on the end of every good move from Vikings. But interesting to see just the turnout from the Eagles fans. This is a big day for them, and as we've already said, if you'd have given them a third place finish, I think in round 9, that it might have taken their hand off. But now that we're here, they've got that scent of gold, and it's all on, and they'll want to win today. There's no prizes for second best, as they say.
Certainly not today, and they're led out by Ray Dobson up front. The Gungahlin Eagles, as I say, a lengthy guard of honour. Not exactly the straightest guard of honour I've ever seen, Ryan, to be fair. They've had to twist and turn their way through it, but the Eagles, they're making their way out here onto Viking Park. The Eagles will run from the north, so left to right as you see it at home on the Bar TV stream. And hello to wherever you're watching us on the Brumbies Rugby Facebook pages and their social media pages, and also Bar TV Sports as well. James Morris is our man in the middle there. So the Vikings to kick off through Noah Lessio. They'll run from the southern end of Viking Park here. We're just waiting for photographers and supporters, and particularly Gungahlin supporters, I've got to say. There's a lot of them making their way over to the Eagles, well, the temporary nest over in the southeastern corner.
Yeah, a slow build here as we wait for kickoff. That guy with the ball, Noah Lessio, he's going to be the key man on the park for both sides. I think if there's a guy who might dictate proceedings, it'll be how that young man goes at fly half. And honestly, Brett, from what I've seen of him, I'll back him at any level. He's so talented, and he's got a good head on his shoulders. Excited to see how he goes.
We've seen plenty of him in 2018, but we're underway in the Hahn Superdry preliminary final. And straight down to Eli Sonotti inside his 22, and he straight away beats the first tackle, and I suspect we'll be saying that a fair bit today, Ryan. Pass goes back to Josh Gillard for his first clearing kick of the day, and it's a great kick. Touch finds touch just beyond halfway from next to no angle. He's turned that into 50 metres. It's a great kick.
Yeah, great start for the Eagles and great start for Josh Gillard. As we said before, he was excellent last week, and that's what the Eagles need to do. They need to exit properly, not allow this Vikings team to counter-attack.
Michael Henry with the line-out throw-in for Tuggeranong just inside his half. Throws well to Darcy Swain. He goes straight down to Ryan Lonergan. Ball goes behind Jordan Jackson-Hope. Lesio's there to clean up, and he's well met in centre field there by at least one Dobson and maybe two. This is Sione Towler, who was wonderful for the Vikings last week in a beaten side against Royals. Jackson-Hope, what can he spark for the home side here today? And he again is met heavily on his side of halfway. Lonergan goes a little short side raid before he finds Michael Henry, who's brought down on halfway. Lonergan comes back to this open side. This is Gersakowski. Keeps coming this way, Lonergan. Lessio, he finds Jordan Jackson-Hope. He's brought down there by Luke Duffy and Jamie Cotts. Steady build up here for Tuggeranong. Lessio gets through his first tackle, brought down by Berthelo and by Helgeson. The Gungahlin locks. This is Henry and finds Towler, his front row teammate. Building the phases here nicely. Tuggeranong through Jackson-Hope. They go wide through Ikitau, and now Tiyuki, the fullback. He gets a little flick pass back on his inside for Andrew Robinson, and he's still going the right winger for the Vikings. He's about 15 metres out, 10 in from touch. Lessio, he steps left and right, and he's met in front of the posts, about 10 out now. Must be a dozen phases here now for the Vikings. This is Towler. and he charges up for another 10 metres. He's still going, the big prop, brought down 5 from the line. Lonigan snipes, finds Michael Henry. He's brought down about 2 short of the line here. It's a little pick and drive there for the Vikings. They're only a metre out. Ball's there. Towler has lost it, has he? It's a try. I beg your pardon. He's regathered and dived in the one notion, Ryan.
What a try.
You don't have to draw a picture.
Oh, well, ominous signs early. That's the perfect start for the Vikings, and they just got through their work with very, very little response, has to be said, from the Eagles early. It's interesting. They're looking to push the Eagles from side to side. We saw it last week with Royals, but this Eagles pack slightly bigger, maybe less mobile, and they're getting some dividends. And say just at the end there, it looked like he'd butchered it, but just dived
forward in desperation, didn't he?
The perfect finish, and that's
he wasn't going to let it try for 2018 sleep.
No,
not when he's that close.
No, that's it. And well, that's tough now for the Eagles, because that just looked like the Vikings are on song.
It did.
It was clinical. Yeah. It was systematic. It was clinical, and it was damn near perfect. And could be a long day. I mean, if Vikings are on that kind of form as we see, the right guys are getting the ball early. Noel Alessio already moving into
his mark,
game.
Isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, looking really good. Really good.
Ryan Lonigan helping him out a lot, it has to be said, at halfback as well.
Yeah, and Lonigan has taken the kicking today. His first shot at conversion for the day has the flags up, and so Tuggeranong jump out to a 7-0 lead. Sione Towler, the try scorer, Ryan Lonigan with the extras, and that's a welcome addition, actually. Ryan Lonigan kicking. Isaac Thompson didn't quite have the best day off the tee last week, did he?
No, and Ryan very able at that job, and just very interesting to see how Vikings looking to play in the edges, trying to find some Eagles forwards in no man's land there, and they did on a number of occasions in that first drive.
Gillard gets us back underway for Tuggeranong, and they stripped it straight away from the restart, from the grasp of Andrew Robinson. It's there with Ray Dobson about 20 out in front of the post now. Gungahlin straight back on attack here. Eli Sonotti, he goes for a crack, finds Jake Helgeson in that tram track channel. All of a sudden they're deep on attack here, the Eagles. This is BJ Edwards, who is down about 15 in from touch, about 10 out from the Tuggeranong line here. What can the Eagles find? Gillard has this. Dummies goes short to Sonotti on his outside shoulder, and Bertholo has knocked that on, but Tuggeranong have it working their way from their own line. Tayuki's there to clean up. He's bundled into touch and will come back for the knock on. Well, I like the desperation, Ryan, from Gungahlin from the kick-off. They had to respond, and they showed their intent there. It
was certainly heartening with 5 minutes gone here that try hasn't taken any of the spirit out, and it was BJ Edwards again, came up with the rip, and they were on attack, but Ali Sonotti just forcing things there, and I think probably has a lot to do with how they've started here, looking to get back into it straight away, as you say, but like to see Eagles get back to that slow build that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. That's
they don't need to try and win it in the fifth minute,
absolutely
do they?
Not.
No,
they've got to back themselves and not feel that if they don't score at every opportunity that this game's going to get away from them. So much time.
I've been looking forward to the first scrum of the game. I have to say, two really good packs. The Dobsons and Alex Small for Gungahlin have been going really, really good over the last month, but this Vikings pack, even with Lee McGrath in for Alex Wagner,
and Lee McGrath,
is a quality prop in his own right, isn't he?
And he's got, let's say, some history with Gungahlin as well. Yep. He played for the Eagles for a long time as well, and would know a lot of these guys very well. So it's interesting. He's got some personal reasons to be good here today, as well as to be good for his side, and they'll look to target him. It's simple as he'll have to just dig in, because they will look to target him.
Lonigan feeds in front of the left-hand upright southern end here of Viking Park. They go 8-9. Lonigan with a clearing kick from inside his 22. Mac Hansen is back there with plenty of time, with no one there. Eli Sonotti, he builds up some steam, and he can't beat the first tackle by Darcy Swain, a really good tackle around the ankles. This is Bertholo, who was magnificent last week in the Eagles' minor semi-final win over Uni Norths. This is Mitch Ward. He's trying to set things up here. This is Ray Dobson running off the hip of Gillard. We'll see plenty of that today as well. Gillard keeps coming to the grandstand side here of Viking Park. Ball's there at the back for Ward. Spills out, but he cleans it up. Hansen, he gives it to Alex Small, who was very nearly taken quickly by Darcy Swain. Hansen has this at the back. He finds Sonotti, who comes back off his left, back into centre field, and he's in a bit of space, Eli Sonotti, but he's just lost the ball there in contact. Ryan Lonigan with a desperation tackle. A tackle that had to be made. The Vikings scrum half there on the spot. This is Alessio, young number 10 in for the very experienced Isaac Thompson.
Oh, that ball had to go, Brett. They were away.
Did, yeah. I think he'd like that one again. Noel Alessio. This is Callum Smith, captain for the day for the Vikings. He's had a really solid 2018 for them, Callum Smith. Ball comes back for Tiyuki. He steps left and right, beats the first tackle there of Nick Dobson, but we've got a penalty to the Vikings.
Yeah, again, Eli Sonotti just a little bit overeager, but it was a good cover tackle from Ryan Lonigan. From a positive point of view for the Eagles, making a lot of good yards with relative ease. So, playing to be heartened with this, since the try's gone in, they've been really
responded well, haven't they? Alessio's kick for the line has got just enough on it. I don't know that he got the biggest piece of that kick, but he did enough in the end.
You just see Darcy Swain arriving here. He'll run this Vikings line out.
Yeah. Running it well. Looks like they're going to go to a 5-man line out.
Likes to call to himself a lot. Trusts himself.
And he has done that now. Ball spills down at the back there to Henry. Ball's at the back. I think it's Ray Dobson has got his hand on this, but he's let it go under the supervision of AR Steve Peake here under the grandstand here at Viking Park. Tuggeranong edging their way into the Eagles half. It's a penalty again. Not rolling away is the call there from James Morris. And so the Vikings having a bit of a look around. What's Noel Alessio? He's pointing to the corner.
Eagles need to cut out the ill discipline at the ruck.
Repeat penalties.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You just can't give this Vikings team extra cracks like this, and field position, that's what they live on. And you saw again last week, Royals very disciplined all day, didn't give Vikings much chance. So as we'll see again, Eagles putting some pressure on that line of time.
So we're going to go to a 7-man line out this time. Henry to throw in from about 27 metres out from the Eagles line. They go to the back to Smith. Ball comes down to Gersakowski. It wasn't the quickest transfer you've ever seen. This is Michael Oakman Hunt in the yellow headgear. Now this is Michael Oakman Hunt with the ball there. Ben Hine. Lonigan has this here now. Goes flick pass back on the inside for JP Meinhardt. And that's a curious little
I didn't mind
play with no real pressure with 10 minutes on the clock done.
Yeah, I don't mind it though. Ryan Lonigan trying to get a bit inventive.
Yep.
I especially like Meinhardt getting off his wing and trying to get some work. Was quiet last week, didn't get a lot of pill, and he's been really good in 2018. So they want to get his hands on the ball, so I don't mind that at all. But especially as you say, with this 7-0 lead with 10 minutes gone, Vikings in the driver's seat. They know they can play footy and have a crack and look to kill this game off early.
They can dictate the tempo of this first half, certainly. So Gungahlin with the scrum feed, about 25 out from their own line. They're about 25 in from touch over there on the eastern side, the Vikings club side here of Viking Park. Ward feeds now for the Eagles. It's a good shove from the Vikings, but Ward has this out now. Gillard has the kick from inside his 22, goes down that centre channel. Tiyuki has this now for the Vikings, gets a kick back into space, and with plenty of kick chase pressure here, Alex Small, the hooker, has got back, and he's done really well to get back there as well in the face of Tiyuki and Andrew Robinson. It was chasing for the Vikings. Pass comes back here for Mac Hansen, and he just hacks a ball into touch, and he's found it just outside the 22. Well, you said it. Someone's got to react here.
Yeah, I think we've seen it now a couple of times. Eagles players not responding to the game, and it happened for the try, and it's happened just there again.
Perhaps great vision from Tiyuki to recognise that there was no one back there.
Said it before when Mac Hansen was bringing back the ball. Looks up and makes the right play. I like that.
Hine takes it for Tuggeranong straight away. Sione Towler turns it straight back into where the line out was. This is Jackson Hope, short ball for Icky Tau, and he's met heavily in centre field there by Gillard, trying to hold him up. Lonigan finds Callum Smith here on the open side. Ben Hine there with the clean out. Lonigan snipes, finds Michael Oakman Hunt. Peels off 5 metres, a good run for the back rower. This is Henry. And now Darcy Swain. They're inside the 22 now, Tuggeranong. Lonigan appealing for quick ball. Hasn't had too much of it today already. Hine passes above his head, does well to pull it down. This is Gurzakowski. Had a great game last week at number 8. Shifts into open side this week. Joey Vivo to come off the bench later in the game for the Vikings. Ball spills out the back. Gurzakowski's there to clean out. Lonigan keeps going to the open side. Finds Alessio and Jackson Hope now. He's brought down just short of the 22. Lonigan comes back to the grandstand side. Hine busts through that first tackle and makes another couple of metres after the initial contact. Oakman Hunt has this on the bounce. Michael Oakman Hunt's going to stroll through and score the second try of the day.
Yeah,
the bouncing ball.
The bouncing ball, but again, Eagles caught on the hop and dire times now for Gungahlin. Vikings rolling, and I just love their variation, Brett. They're just playing with so much more direction, much more creativity than last week, and clearly with bags of confidence coming into this one. And yeah, I mean, likely to be 14-0 now after 15, and you can clearly see that Eagles trying to push them infield, not wanting to get caught out wide, obviously with so many weapons for Vikings outside. But when things were just starting to be a little bit stale, Ben Hine, he picked an absolute peach of a line, and that just got the tempo going. Ryan Lonigan pulling strings, as we said, from halfback, and a slice of luck, we'll say, to get to Michael Welcome Hunt, but the finish again, too easy. I mentioned before that Lonigan hasn't necessarily had a lot of quick ball, but he got it straight away off Hine, and that's what kept them going there. The pass to Oakman Hunt wasn't great, but the result was fantastic. That's just what I mean by being alive. Yeah. When a ball doesn't quite go where you're thinking, that doesn't mean that play switches off and you've got to be alive, and that's definitely caught on the hop there with Eagles. That's the lesson for the Gungahlin side right now, isn't it? Yeah. Well, they'll have to learn it soon. I mean, 14-0, 15 gone. That's right. This game's slipping away already. The lesson couldn't be any more obvious. Ryan Lonigan with the conversion. He'll kick it from 14 in from touch. He's taken it about 3 metres back from the 22. Have a great shot of this straight down the line. Hits it well. Lonigan, it's gone outside the right-hand upright. Score remains 12 points to 0 in favour of Tuggeranong over Gungahlin in the Hahn Super Dry Griffin Legal John Dent Cup preliminary final here at Viking Park. Brett McKay with you on Bar TV Sports with Ryan Murphy, and we thank our wonderful competition partners this year, Griffin Legal and the John Dent Cup naming rights sponsors, Vodafone, our man of the match sponsors. And Ryan, we're in the responsible position again of deciding who wins those wonderful Samsung headphones later in the game. Robinson has this from the restart for Tuggeranong, and he's brought to ground about 25 out from his own line, 5 in from touch. Alessio finds Henry, and he finds Michael Oakman Hunt, who's got a spring in his step. All of a sudden, brought down outside his 22. They're going to run this out of their own line. No, Alessio kicks, goes to the air. Great pressure from Tayuki, and he has this now. Brendan Tayuki gets a little kick ahead here now for JP Meinhardt. Who's going to win this race to the ball? Meinhardt has it. He's dived for the line. Desperation stuff. There's a little knock on there. Penalty, though, for the Vikings. Things just going from bad to worse here from Gungahlin. Noah Lalesio willing that ball to go out, weren't they? It was a really poor kick from Noah Lalesio, but it just beds perfectly for Tayuki, and he put in, has to be said, a lovely little just dinking kick there into the Eagles 5, and the desperation defence of Jamie Cotts there on JP Meinhardt in the corner. I thought Mac Hansen did really well to get back as well. Yeah. So Tuggeranong now with attacking line out, 5 out. Henry to throw in. Gone to the full complement here again, Tuggeranong. Taken at the front. Ball spilt down. Is there a little knock on in there? It's coming out the back here now. Liam McGrath is the biggest scrum half on the field today. Ben Hine, he cleaned that out. Smith it is now, centering this ball a little bit. Gurzakowski picks up at the back, and he's claimed quickly, loses a couple of metres. Lonigan is there now for the Vikings. Goes open side to Alessio. Throws a nice pass to Ikitau, but he's well claimed in midfield by Sonotti and by Luke Duffy. It's a short ball here for Alessio, running that crash line.
Lonergan finds Callum Smith in front of the post here now. No way through this Eagles defence at the moment, though. This is Liam McGrath who beats the tackle of Helgeson. Quick ball here for Henry. This is Alessio. Goes to Jackson Hope. And he's brought to ground well by Helgeson again. Getting through some work. Henry throws a pass in front of Ben Hine. And he's put into touch. But we're going to come back for another Tuggeranong penalty. The Eagles just offside there, Ryan.
Holding up really well are the Eagles. Has to be said. A lot of effort out there, but coming offside, and Morris will be thinking pocket very soon, I think, Brett.
What did Tuggeranong do here?
I'd take the scrum.
I've just heard the call. Yeah.
You've come into this game thinking maybe that's going to be a point where you've got to focus and dig in, but early on we've seen that Vikings getting really smart. What they're doing is they're just going, as soon as they hit, they're going, and they're not waiting around for the Eagles to gather and go for the shove. Has to be refereed, that is going early, but it's really smart from Vikings, and with a big pack they're just rolling, and don't be surprised to see them try to keep this one in.
Will they? Yeah, I was just going to say that. Will they fancied their chances here from 5 out? Big test here now for the Gungahlin front row. We
don't want to say it too early, but I mean, the game is definitely slipping away, and if they concede here, the Eagles, it's going to be a long way back.
Lonergan feeds for the Vikings. Ball is there for Hine. He's got his hands on it. Lonergan spreads out. It finds Len Ikitau back on that out in line. Ball goes behind Towler. Open Hunt cleans up. This is Jackson Hope. We're working our way through the high field at the moment. Put down in front of the post here. Lonergan keeps going to the eastern side of Viking Park. This is Alessio. Meinhardt leaves it behind. Hansen has it for the Eagles. Can Mac Hansen do here? He's brought down just outside his 22 now. Advantage for Gungahlin. This is Sinotti. He finds Ray Dobson.
Kotz is in an acre of space, but he's got no one with him.
No, hasn't seen a lot of ball so far. Jamie Kotz, the Eagles flyer. Ball goes back for Gillard. Just gets this downfield. Down there for Robinson and Ikitau for the Vikings. Ikitau has it. What can he do? He skips off his left. Finds Jackson Hope in a little bit of space here. Beats the tackle of Kotz. Heads back infield. And he's brought down beautifully by BJ Edwards. Lonergan goes short side to Callum Smith. This is Ben Hine. Ball's there for Lonergan now. Michael Henry, he's been prominent. Beats our flying Ray Dobson there for the Eagles. Alessio with a little chip kick. Got a little shoulder on the way through, but Hansen is back there to clean up for the Eagles.
Number of occasions, Mac Hansen's been the first one to
great offload there from Nick Dobson to Helgeson. Ball comes back here now for Gillard.
He spotted an acre of space.
Yeah, plenty of space down the middle, and he just belts it low and hard, gets it down. Kick chase from the Eagles isn't great, though, I've got to say. Jackson Hope with plenty of space finds JP Meinhardt, and he gets a big right foot onto this ball, and he finds touch over there on the eastern side of Viking Park. Right idea from the Eagles, Ryan, but kick chase just didn't quite put the pressure on the Vikings cleaners there.
Still huge 10 for the Eagles. They're holding out the Vikings under massive pressure, and they got out. Number of occasions, Mac Hansen the first to react when kicks went up, and I just say the kick chase maybe not perfect, but it was good enough to force Meinhardt into a kick, and Eagles get a respite and able to maybe dictate their play onto Vikings for the first time in this game.
Eagles line out inside the Tuggeranong half. Ball comes down for Ward. This is Gillard. He finds Mitch Conley. It's his first carry of the day, I think. Had 20 minutes of play just about. This is Gillard again. This is BJ Edwards, who's met heavily over there by Sione Towler.
Took it well.
Yeah, he did. Kept going after the contact. This is Rocky Ilalahia. We haven't seen a lot of him today, but he'll be prominent for the Eagles if they can get back into this contest. This is Snotty with a bit of boom himself. Bumps off Michael Oakman Hunt. This is Duffy. Gillard's done well to pull that ball back in. Under plenty of pressure there from Len Ikitau in the tackle. Ball's there for Ward now. Hansen's at first receiver. He goes there to Nick Dobson, who's lost it in contact.
Oh, he's made up for Michael Oakman Hunt. Big shot on Dobson.
Oh, the contact there. First it was Sione Towler on BJ Edwards, and then Eli Sinotti.
Huge.
On Michael Oakman Hunt. Boom.
Alex Small just receiving a bit of treatment here.
Now, we mentioned in the pre-game, Ryan, that the Bureau radar was telling us we were about to get wet any minute, but it's held off so far, and long may it continue.
Yeah, it has done, and Vikings perhaps making the best of that with the first 20 minutes here, keeping the ball in hand, and
certainly set it up well if weather plays a role in this contest in the remaining hour.
I think with 5 gone, Brett, we might have been looking at a score here. But it's interesting to see that Eagles have reacted really well, and their defensive line is holding up.
They're clawing their way back into it through their defence,
I think they just maybe nerves, maybe just got caught cold a little bit, but they looked asleep. Yeah. Has to be said. It's brutal, but it has to be said.
The nerves point is really good because as we said in the pre-game a month ago, we probably wouldn't have thought we'd be having this conversation about Gungahlin on preliminary final day, and so it's a big occasion for the club. It's a huge day,
and there's just the mental difference between playing all respect, of course, of Vikings versus an Owls.
Yeah,
having beaten the Owls the week before, you come in thinking, all right, we're confident here.
Yeah,
you've lost twice to the Vikings this year, and they're the team. Let's say them and Royals. So just that little mental edge, perhaps in the first 5 minutes, and Vikings. They made the best of that, and as we see, Liam McGrath getting also a little bit of treatment.
Yeah, just getting his head taped up there.
Vikings prop stocks perhaps not at the all-time heights, so they'll want McGrath to get through, and that's at least 60 or 70 minutes here.
And that's a reasonable point when we look at Tom Ross and Oscar Cunningham on the bench for the Eagles, who are young props in their own right. Tom Ross, obviously in the Junior Wallabies this year, and has had a big 2018 already, but in Ben Pratt and Angus Burns for the Vikings, we haven't seen a lot of them in the top grade today, so no doubt Nick Scrivener will be hoping that Liam McGrath and Sione Towler can get through as many of the 80 minutes as possible.
Just early here, I think I've liked what I've seen from Noah Lolesio, but perhaps a youthful exuberance getting getting over him a few times. He might be
guilty of overplaying his hand a little bit. Yeah, it's a fair point.
Interesting to see how he grows as this game progresses and starts to use his weapons outside and taking the option of taking himself too much early, I think. Big shove.
This big shove from the Eagles. Hind gets it out quickly. This is Lolesio. Goes wide to Ikitau with a nice little dummy there for Meinhardt, but the ball's gone past him. Conley got a little boot on there. Found touch, but will come back for that knock on. I like the intent from Ikitau.
Absolutely.
To step right, step left, and then come back with that little outside ball, but just the pass was just a little bit out there, wasn't it?
I don't want to get too Shakespearean on you here, Brett, but just as the rain starts to fall,
final day is the day to do it.
The colour of the sky is changing, the rain's starting to fall, and the Eagles finally get that shove at scrum time that they've been waiting for, and they get the knock on. They'll have a chance to build pressure here. Perhaps a little bit of a change. Maybe not. Maybe. They're not getting on top, but coming into this game now and starting to play their game rather than just trying to hang on with the Vikings.
Inside the last 17 minutes of this first half, Tuggeranong 12 leading Gungahlin 0. The Hahn Superdry preliminary final.
Rock solid from Vikings
here from the Vikings. Gungahlin has it. Ward pulls it out. This is Gillard. Good crash ball there from Mitch Conley in centre field. Gerzakowski was all over it there for the Vikings, but Gungahlин's clean out was good. Little offload there to Luke Duffy from Sinotti. He's brought down just short of the 22. 5 in from touch. Ball's there at the back for Ward. This is Gillard. Finds Ilalahia. Again, looking for runners here, Ward. They're certainly not close to him. He goes wide to Gillard. This is Ray Dobson. Brought down about 25 out from the posts. They're wide to Gillard. He comes back into BJ Edwards, who can't get through that first tackle, but we have penalty advantage here now for the Eagles.
Yeah, high shot there on BJ.
Ward finds Sinotti in midfield. He finds Luke Duffy, who's met heavily by his opposite number, Len Ikitau, and we're going to go back for that high tackle penalty.
Vikings line speed's really, really good, but Eagles starting to peg that and getting some deft little inside passes, just trying to counteract it, but I thought he was a little bit unlucky there. BJ Edwards was definitely falling, and he just copped him slightly high. Maybe just the intent or intent of the rules nowadays. Any high shots are penalised, but I thought he was a little bit unlucky.
Contact above the shoulder, isn't it? Yeah. Gillard's touch finder has put the Eagles inside the Gungahlin 22. They're going to have this line out from about 18 out. Wasn't the deepest touch finder.
Wind not favouring anyone at the moment. It's just swirling there, so perhaps just looking for the comfort of an easy touch.
And he was just kept it low, made sure of it. Josh Gillard, 7-man line out, goes to Edwards at the front. He just taps it down. Ilalahia is there to clean up and make a metre or two. He's brought down on the 22. Ward has it. He's eyeing short side. Goes that way through Edwards again. Plenty of contact there from Darcy Swain and Callum Smith for the Vikings. Ward comes open side through Nick Dobson and Alex Small. Just bound behind him like a two-man scrum almost. This is Sam O'Leary.
You wouldn't think Ben Hines coming off an ACL the way he's thrown himself into contact.
He's been prominent, hasn't he? Connolly with a nice little ball to Sonotti, but the pressure. JP Minard has this now for Tuggeranong. He has Brendan Tayuki in behind him. Gillard and Connolly getting back there for the Eagles. Gillard is there and he does well. Even gets back to his feet. He's able to reset the ruck here now. Tuggeranong make a claim for this ball and they've won the penalty. Wonderful work there. In the end, Ryan Lonergan it was. Crucial kick chase pressure.
Yep, Ryan Lonergan obviously getting the turnover there, but we said it not 2 minutes ago, the line speed of Vikings starting to pay dividends. Lenny Ikite shot out of the line, put a massive tackle on
Luke Duffy.
Looked
up and saw red and white.
Yeah, it was just a perfect read from Ikite, and as you say, Meinhardt broke really well. The kick was absolutely perfect, and Lonergan, a beefier looking Lonergan, as we say, growing into his body, and he was not getting moved there right at the front. And as we see, this is
full line out here. Looks like Oakman Hunt standing in the offset. No prizes for guessing what the Vikings are going to do here. Oakman Hunt, though, doesn't go the line-out drive, so just ignore what I was trying to allude to there. Lonergan has this ball's only about a metre or two out. This is Ben Hine, brought down again a metre or two short. Ball goes behind Lalesio, goes wide out there to Tiuki, and he's in plenty of space, and Brendan Tiuki scores for Tuggeranong.
What a pill from Noah Lalesio.
You're offside in that position.
Absolutely mesmeric from the young fly half. Nothing was on. He was under bags of pressure. One step off the wrong hand, just perfect to Brendan Tuiki and the fullback, as he has done all season long. Half a step, glides in. 17-0, Brett.
17-0.
Defence into attack. That's what the great teams do.
That's it. 28 minutes played here at Viking Park in the Hahn Superdry preliminary final. Brendan Tiuki, the try scorer for Tuggeranong. And we've said that a few times throughout the Griffin League or John Dent Cup
19
season.
times, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Just another word on Lalesio. The thing that he has to grow into is obviously game management and just knowing when and where to attack, when and where to defend. But
he picked his moment really well there.
You can't choose. You can't teach that. That was absolutely perfect. It was a perfect pill and the right option, and that's the difference I think right now is the Vikings quality players are stepping up and they're giving it their best. Unlike last week, they're the ones that are prominent. You see Ali Nagahi warming up for the Gungahlin Eagles.
Yeah, Eli Sonotti is making his way from the field here. We'll have more on that in a moment.
Covering his nose, so we'll see if it's blood or not, or if it's something a little bit more sinister. Yeah. But as you say,
Lonergan's conversion from wide out, he likes the look of it. He hit it really well, held it up nicely in the wind. So the Vikings 19 leading Gungahlin 0 here. Viking Park.
Yeah, Ellie's just gone into the blood bin.
Alrighto, so there's the call there through the ref audio. Eli Sonotti getting a little bit of attention for some blood. Ali Nahi, you said Ryan has gone on for him.
He's a sharp young player, Brendan. He's got bags of pace and power, so if he can get his hands on the ball, definitely a target, as we see. Will it just drifts perfect for Eagles. Great
Eagles
drop off.
Will have this from the restart. This is Ward making his way into the Tuggeranong half, and he is absolutely whacked. And we've got a penalty here against the Vikings.
Felt every bit of Darcy Swain did Mitch Ward, but he's won a penalty for his side.
It is the same play.
Yeah. Lights are on here at Viking Park. Rain, light rain falling. And that with a 19-0 lead, Ryan. The Vikings, they won't mind a bit of rain now, will they?
No, absolutely not. With 10 minutes to play in this first half. Oh, he's gone to his pocket. And we've got a card.
Oh, we have too.
Darcy Swain.
Against Darcy Swain. Yellow card there.
Brett, I don't know if you know, how many has Darce got for the year?
It's a really good question.
I know he's got. I know
He's
that's
got a
his
couple.
second. I know it's a second because he actually got carded the first time these teams met way back in round 2, I believe, or round 3. That's
This Hunt
well, let's
Super Dry
keep
preliminary
an eye on
final.
that.
Yeah, we will definitely keep an eye on that. Could have implications for the grand final next weekend potentially. But all of a sudden now,
Yes,
it's 10 minutes until half time.
Well,
It's 8 on 7 for the Eagles. They don't go to the line-out driver. They might have with the man advantage. This is Ilalahio, just charges back into that where that line-out was. Edwards is there at the back for the Eagles. He finds Nick Dobson, who's held up well there by Ben Hind.
Geez, done well.
Did well after the contact, though. Nick Dobson found another couple of metres. This is brother Ray, who does the same sort of thing. Finds another metre or two.
And this is where the Eagles are best, when they keep it in tight.
Ward looking for runners. They're going wide here. Ball bounces for Gillard. This is Luke Duffy.
It's just too early for
rain
Eagles.
falling heavier here now will change the way the Eagles want to play, perhaps. This is Kotz in a little bit of space. Steps a couple of times. Beats more than a few defenders before he's brought down about 20 in from touch on the Tuggeranong 22. Ilalahia in centre field. Takes 3 men from the Vikings to stop him. Ward comes back to this side, finds Conley. He's tackled heavily there from Henry. And it's the only towler it was for Tuggeranong. Gillard finds Mac Hansen, but he's taken beautifully by Gersikowski on the inside. This is Ilalahia, who gets a little bit of a bump off James Morris and keeps going after that initial contact. Ward keeps going his quicker ball here now. This is BJ Edwards. Again, Michael Oakman Hunt. They go quickly wide through Conley. This is Helgeson out in that little path that he enjoys. Rick Dobson gets a little offload, but Jackson Hope has this. He gets a little grubber kick ahead. Brendan Tuyuki and Mac Hansen, they're there. Jackson Hope has this now for Tuggeranong. Mac Hansen, he's done superbly well there to keep Brendan Tuyuki well covered. This is Ben Hine. Now, Tuggeranong, can they find more points before half-time? Ball spills at the back. Ward has it, and he's a little knock on there.
Oh, it's absolute criminal from the Eagles.
Ball just getting a little bit greasy.
Yeah, but I mean, we won't be too hard. I mean, it's it's struggle street for the Eagles. They're looking to score, but you just saw how good they were there when they went direct, when they kept it tight and they went, blazing direct, carrying hard with intent, not going slow. But then the little offload from Dobson just didn't go to hand, and Hope, he was alive. And again, we've said it a couple of times, it's defence into attack, and for the Eagles, they can't afford these moments anymore. They've got to convert some of this field position into points. And
there's been plenty of speed in the contest. There's 2 Vikings players down in the background there getting some attention. One at the very back there is Brendan Tuyuki, the fullback, I'm sure, who was running shoulder to shoulder with Mac Hansen in that kick chase.
Yet again, Mac Hansen did really well to just stem the flow a bit as he received some attention also. I think it's Michael Henry that was getting looked at by the medical staff, but he seems to be okay. Hansen in a bit of pain, has to be said.
He is, yeah. He's looking at his right ankle, is it?
Can't quite see, but certainly
a little bit skewered there by the 2 orange-clad trainers for the Eagles. Yeah, it looks like he's getting his right ankle all strapped up.
Alarming signs for Eagles with Sonotti already off the park.
Yeah.
And we'll play on 14 on 14.
They want to fit and firing Mac Hansen, certainly the Eagles.
Tweaky not moving perfectly, but he looks to be okay.
Yeah, he looked like he was having his right wrist looked at, and he's got a bit of strapping there on his wrist as you see him walking there towards.
He's a specimen of a man too, Brett. He's a fullback, but he looks like he could play lock.
Yeah, he looks like he could play 6 or 7 comfortably, doesn't he? Mac Hansen is up on his feet. He's got some strapping on that right ankle though, definitely.
I just wonder if they were smart, would they shift it this side? Luke Duffy gone into the left wing with Ali Nahi in at 13.
Monaghan feeds. It's a Gungahlin penalty. Great scrummaging.
That'll give him confidence, simple. Absolutely. Ray Dobson there on the loose head side. Just starting to get his way a little bit there. Lee McGrath, he's done really well. Just on the side there, Lee McGrath in this first half, but Ray Dobson finally getting a bit of joy on that loose head side, and Gillard pumps him into the Vikings half. So again, Eagles will feel that they should at least have one score on the board, but if they're looking at it positively, on a number of occasions they've held out.
They're getting a few little wins, aren't
Absolutely,
they?
Absolutely, yeah. It was interesting in that first 10, it just seemed that every bobble of the ball was going the Vikings' way, and now little things going the Eagles' way.
Yep.
Certainly setting us up for a game in the second half, if not.
Certainly are. Alex Small throws in 5 in to the Gungahlin, into the Tuggeranong half. This is Conley in midfield, and
Jackson
here brought down heavily by Jordan Jackson Hope. There's a definite weight mismatch there. Small gets a nice little offload there on the far side to Ray Dobson.
7.
Ward, well, he's coming back open side because that's where everyone is for the Eagles. This is Ray Dobson. And this is Ilalahia. And he's been more prominent in the last 10 minutes. Gets a little offload away from the ground. Conley keeps coming this way through Mac Hansen, who tests out that right ankle with a couple of side steps. Brought to ground just short of the 22 in the end. It was good for 10 or 15 metres there, Mac Hansen. This is Berthelo. Quick ball here for the Eagles. Helgeson. Little inside line. Hansen down this short side. This is Ali Nahi in number 20. On for Eli Sinotti. Getting a little bit of attention in the blood bin currently. Ilahia again. He must have had 6 or 7 carries in the last 10 minutes, I'd reckon, right? This is BJ Edwards with a fantastic carry, putting the Eagles deep on attack here now. Berthelo, he's eyeing off 5 points as he brought down 5 out. Nahi picks up from the back. Just has to build up, get his way to ground. It's only about 3 metres short. Little charge there at the back from Alex Small, I think it was.
Just a different Eagles team when they play this way, Brett.
They're on attack here, definitely. Ball's at the back there for Edwards. He picks and drives with Ilalah here behind him. Ward goes to Gillard. Gillard has a little bit of a snipe at the line. Brought down about a metre short. Ward wants the ball quickly. This is Alex Small in front of the post. Can he get his way over the line for the Eagles? He's been held up here now for Tuggeranong. Ball's there now for Ward, I think.
It's on the base.
Ball's against the base of the scrum. The base of the pad, I beg your pardon. Get the words tangled. I'm going to come back for a Gungahlin penalty. So what's the ruling there?
He said that it's no try. Interesting to see whether...
looking to go quick. Oh, I'd love to have had a replay to see that again.
I just wonder, has he placed it on top of the post first and then moved down, not just direct to the base?
Right. Yep. Ilalahia with an old school tap, but he's gone very close here. The Gungahlin number 8. The Eagles, they're looking for the pick and drive here. And they've got over the line, have they, this time? Ball's there.
Gee, how much would they want BJ Edwards now?
Dobsons, I'm sure. No, Tuggeranong have done well to keep this ball up. I'm sure the ball's over the line.
That's Vikings' ball. Should be.
Ball's held up over the line. I think we'll go back for a 5-metre scrum.
They've just managed to get over the line. Talking a game of inches here, Brett. Vikings D so good on the goal line. You see BJ Edwards getting a bit of attention, and God, if there's one man, maybe one of two, that they don't want to be hurt here now.
No, certainly. I think it was Ray Dobson who went with the pick and drive, and he ended up just sort of rolling over the top of that last ruck.
But I'd say, had he not rolled, that was Vikings' pill.
Yeah, true.
I mean, 3 minutes and change to play. If they can score here, it's game on in the second half. And as we see, the rain starting to bucket down now.
Definitely coming down heavier now. People there over on the far side, on the Vikings club side, here down in Erindale, they're certainly looking for cover. There's a lot more people under the Gungahlin Eagles tent there on the far side, isn't there?
It's a different team when the Eagles play that way. When they play direct and just one off. So many times in modern rugby we talk about playing one off as if it's the worst thing, but if you're doing it that way, it just seems to change the way they play in terms of their tempo. When they play direct like that, everyone lifts a little bit. When they're going side to side, maybe trying to play a little more fancy, it's like the life gets sucked out of them. But then Rocky Ilalahia just builds up. Helgeson making great yards.
Edwards makes that charge up through the middle there. They're getting
as we see, he's
good ground from their ball carriers.
This is huge now. With Rocky Ilalahia on the base, Vikings need to be alert. for the pick, but it's all about the scrum.
Brendan Tuyuki is the only defender on the blind side here. Jamie Cotts is trying to draw him wide out. I wonder if the Eagles will eye off an 8-9 down this short side. Ward feeds.
As good as Tiki is, I back Jamie Cotts in a one-on-one.
Scrum's just gone down in the middle there. Little moral victory for the Vikings.
BJ Edwards is really struggling here. Just keep your eyes on him, Brett.
He's got his right ankle is heavily strapped. He's certainly favouring it, isn't he?
How good have the Dobsons been so far?
Been wonderful. I genuinely think they've been front and centre getting the Eagles back into this contest. It's not reflected back on the scoreboard, but the Eagles are where they are because
particularly because of the Dobson boys. Nick has been absolutely outstanding. It was his miss offload, actually, as we see Tom Ross just getting stripped off here. I wonder who that might be for.
Fine.
Just keep an eye on Alex Small. He's been in the wars a little bit. I didn't see the Dobsons look to be okay.
Get up.
Ward feeds here. It's a good Tuggeranong initial shove. The Eagles have this going forward, though. Ilalahia has it at his feet.
Just need to keep it on.
Forward.
Just need to keep it on here to the Eagles.
Ilalahia picks up.
He's over.
And he scores. Rocky Ilalahia scores for Gungahlin. And that's a much-needed 5 points, 2 minutes till half-time, Ryan.
Absolutely massive, Brett. And, you know, just say credit to the Gungahlin Eagles. After 5 minutes, we thought it was going to be a long day, and when it went to 19-0, for mine, I thought it was game over, but the intent, the change in style, just the build, the slow build, as we've been talking about, they've just built pressure here, and when that scrum came, eyes lit up, and they took their opportunity, as we see that man Nick Dobson coming off the park.
Coming from the field, yeah. So
interesting to see if that's tactical or not.
Tom Ross in number 17 in the black and red headgear. He's on for Ray Dobson. Oh, for Nick Dobson, I beg your pardon.
That's an interesting... If that's tactical, it's a very interesting decision, given Tom Ross played a full game of footy earlier on. And Nick has been, for me, despite a few handling errors, one of the best players on the park.
Gillard's conversion is over. Flags are up, 19 points to 7. Tuggeranong lead Gungahlin in the Hahn Superdry preliminary final. We're into the last minute of play here in the first half.
Eagles have to get into the sheds with this score intact. Vikings will be absolutely gunning for a late score here.
Alessio has it in midfield for the Vikings.
Just wonder, with a big Royals contingent here as well, what are they thinking here?
There is a really big Royals contingent here. They were keeping an eye on supporting their second grade.
He's called that 10's good. It was easily a yard short.
Yeah, it flew over the pane, though, I think is the ruling. Alessio has it, and that's a great hit.
Big
Bertholo on Michael Oakman Hunt. He's had some treatment today as the Vikings back rower. Lonigan has this for the red and whites. Ben Hine has left this behind him. Connolly gets a ball onto it. He's still got it here, the Eagles. Luke Duffy is brought to ground now with the ball. Can the Eagles find more points before halftime? This is Edwards. Just centering things nicely. Ward goes short side. Conley finds Bertholo.
Big Bertholo.
Who's still in the same spot that he absolutely levelled Michael Oakman Hunt just before, and they've got a penalty here, Gungahlin.
Every Eagles player pointing directly to the touchline. Love to see that. Not settling for this halftime score. Want to go get another. I wouldn't mind seeing Josh Gillard having a shot at sticks, if I'm being honest, though.
Yeah, and he's calling for the kicking tee here by the looks of it. So
yeah, I just think, given the fact that on a number of occasions we've seen the Vikings can break from anywhere, I don't mind it. If they'd have gone to the corner, I'd have backed their decision, as a confidence play. Yeah. But I like to see that Gillard's going to have a shot here, and this is inside his range, especially with, if there is a gust, it's favouring him.
He's going to have the shot pretty well on the 10-metre line there, as you can see. He'll kick from about 7 or 8 metres in from touch. So he's going to be kicking this the best part of 46, 47 metres, I'd reckon. But this is an important kick in the context of this first half, and knowing how dominant Tuggeranong have been until this point. Gillard steadies at the top. kept it low. It's going to come down to the left of the uprights. I didn't think it'd have the distance in the end.
No, I heard a couple of kicks there. I think he copped a bit of ground.
Yeah,
but
he might have done too. So James Morris calls half-time on us here at Viking Park. Tuggeranong leading 19 points to 7 in the Hahn Superdry preliminary final. And Ryan, well, it certainly didn't look that way when Tuggeranong jumped out to a 19-0 lead inside half an hour, but there's plenty left in this game, isn't there?
Absolutely, and for the Eagles, it's funny thinking that they might be looking at the half-time thinking, gee, we might have wanted another 10 there. I think at 19-0 they probably wanted to see the sheds to get around each other and just have a settle, but as we said before, Brett, just their change in style seemed to affect things massively. They're going back to the game that's got them to the dance, as they say, and for the Vikings, they've just got to recover now. They'll feel that maybe they went off the boil when it went to 19-0. It's a mental game. It happens that you think you're comfortable and
running towards the scoreboard that says 19-0. It'd be hard not to take that literally. Certainly, I agree with you.
It's still Vikings to win from here. I mean, it's a 12-point lead. It's not massive or anything, but with their quality and with the guys they have, they'll feel that it's all theirs to take. But Eagles within a shot for sure.
So we'll have all the second half action here at Viking Park for you very, very soon, no doubt. We'll quickly go through the halftime score there, 19 points to 7. It is at the break. It was Sione Towler who got the Vikings on the scoreboard in the 3rd minute, and that was converted by Ryan Lonigan. Michael Oakman Hunt then scored in the 14th minute to make it 12-0, and then Brendan Tayuki scoring that 3rd try in the 28th minute. Ryan Lonigan converted that, and that was 19-0. And Ryan, that's at that point, as we were saying, it really looked like Tuggeranong were going to start running away with this.
For sure.
The Darcy Swain yellow card 2 minutes later has had a really interesting turn of events on this game, and certainly that's been part of the reason why that pushover try and that scrum pressure was there. So Rocky Ilalahi has scored for Gungahlin 2 minutes before half-time. Josh Gillard converted that made it 19-7, and Gillard's just pushed that penalty attempt right on half-time to the left of the posts. Ball is going to get wetter and greasier, and I'm sure both teams would love the fact that we have a ball left out in the middle of Viking Park here right now. Just going to get wetter and wetter for the next 5 or 6 minutes. There it is.
I reckon an Eagles player's kicked that back onto the field as they were going. An
Eagles forward, I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would have been eyes on Mark Berthelot, I think.
So yeah, it's been a great contest here so far. We mentioned earlier on we've had some wonderful rugby played here today. We'll go through some lower grade scores for you and what that means for grand final day next weekend. The Griffin Legal John Dent Cup grand final will be down here again at Viking Park next Saturday, August 18. It'd be great to have a huge crowd down here. Plenty of clubs involved, so I'm sure we will. So in second grade, it was Tuggeranong 30 beating Royals 29, and so the Vikings will play Queanbeyan in second grade next weekend. In Colts, it was the Whites, Queanbeyan 20 beating Gungahlin 17, and so the Whites will play Tuggeranong in Colts. In the Division 1 first grade, ADFA 50 beat Royals 22, so ADFA will play Tuggeranong in Div 1 first grade. In Div 1 second grade, Tuggeranong 28 beat Queanbeyan 24, and so the Vikings will play RMC. Great to see ADFA and RMC involved on grand final day next weekend. And in the women's preliminary final, Uninorth 29 beat Royals 17, and so the Owls will play the Tuggeranong Vikings next weekend on grand final day here at Viking Park. Ryan, there's a little bit of it looks like the rain has actually eased up a little bit here at the break. What do you think is going to be the messages in those sheds from the respective sides? Nick Scrivener for the Vikings and Dan Atkins for Gungahlin.
I think Dan Atkins more of the same. That last 10, more of the same from that point of view, and then for the Vikings just to get back into what was seeing them so dominant in that first 10. I think keeping the pill, starting to build their pressure, not letting Gungahlin dictate things in terms of getting in close and then getting up off the line. That's when they've seemed to have the most joy in defences, when they've just shot out of the line and forced the Eagles to play on the back foot. But tough to know, Brett. There's not much you can do when guys are motoring like that in one-off runners. It's about just chopping and then getting the likes of Luke Grzikowski over the ball and turning over Pill and just stemming the flow a little bit is all you can do, really.
I'll be interested to see how the Eagles come out initially in the first half, because certainly at the start of the game it looked like the Eagles a few times were guilty of overplaying their hand a little bit. They were trying to deliver the killer blow, if you like, in the second and third and 6th minute of the game, and they didn't really need to do that. I wouldn't say that they absolutely need to be the first try scorer after half time, but gee, it'd be handy if they were.
I think so. I mean, even if Vikings can, even if they get a penalty, they'll still be certainly in it. But I think a try would, again, be a long way back. But as you say, there's so much time, and we've seen now that they can score, and just 40 minutes of barnstorming football ahead, I think.
Yeah, shapes as a mouth-watering contest, no doubt about that. Tuggeranong 19 lead Gungahlin 7 here at Viking Park in the Hahn Superdry preliminary final. The winner today will play the awaiting Royals next weekend in the Griffin League or John I. Dent Cup grand final here. And we're just waiting the two teams to come out in this second half. We'll keep you up to breast with any changes that we might see. We will get an update as well on where Eli Sinotti is up to. He came off,
haven't seen him
for blood, but actually hasn't been back on the field so far. So we'll find out about that in just a moment. It looks like the Eagles are running back out here now. Tom Ross is there in the headgear, I can see, for Gungahlin. So just looking for any changes here now. I can see BJ Edwards is there still for Gungahlin. He's going to be of vital importance in this second half for the Eagles. Tuggeranong making their way to the northern end of Viking Park here now. Ben Hine is still on. Michael Oakman Hunt, he's had plenty of treatment coming his way. The Vikings blindside flanker. So no other changes, Ryan, that I can see here in the second half. James Morris is ready to get us underway here. The last 40 minutes of 2018 for one of these two teams. Gillard gets us back underway in the Hahn Superdry preliminary final. Hine has this for the Vikings inside his 22. And he's brought down there by that man, Tom Ross, in the headgear. Ball comes down, comes back for Lalesio for his clearing kick. Mac Hansen is backtracking, but he's there to clean up. Ball back inside for Jamie Kotz, who sort of changes his mind before he comes back to the grandstand side and finds Rocky Ilulahia, the Gungahlin number 8. Ward looks open side, comes goes short side before he goes back to the open side through Berthelo and BJ Edwards. They keep going to the eastern side of Viking Park here. This is Mac Hansen.
Foul play report, Joe.
We've got a high tackle report there from the far side. We'll come back to that. High contact penalty advantage being played to Gungahlin. Len Ikitau for the Vikings was mentioned there, 13 red. This is a good carry from Nick Dobson. Bumps off a couple of defenders. Ward has this. This is Ilulahia, who's brought down beautifully by Ben Hine, well behind the advantage line. We're going to come back to that high tackle.
Interesting now. Will they have a chat?
Mark's on 22, so step left. And you're good there.
Now, Nick Dobson has just stayed down.
Yeah, it's Ray out there, I believe.
It is Ray, actually. It is.
So my Dobson pegging is...
Well, yours is better than mine.
Well, but I would know the boys.
Was it not Ray that came off before half-time?
No, it was Nick.
Must have been Nick, yeah. So Tom Ross in 17 is on for Nick Dobson. We'll we'll eventually get our Dobsons right today.
That's it. Oh well, I'm training with them. We get the old Dobson call there, but good start for the Eagles, has to be said, and it's what they'd have wanted. Just a chance to get down into Vikings half. It's not the best from Gillard. He'll be disappointed with that. But
Gillard's touch finder is certainly held up in the little bit of wind there. Rain still falling lightly here at Viking Park blowing in from the wind, sort of blowing a little bit from the north at the moment into the faces of Gungahlin.
Just trying to have a look to see if I can see if Ellie Sonotti is anywhere to be seen. But
throw in wasn't great from Alex Small. It's gone straight to Darcy Swain for the Vikings, and they have this just inside the halfway. This is Lalesio, comes wide to Jackson Hope. This is Len Ikitau. Can he do his put? No, he missed the tackle through Ali Nahi. Ikitau, he's still going. He's brought down five over the halfway now. Lonergan goes wide, finds Towler in centre field. Tiyuki was there for Lonergan, couldn't get the ball quick enough. Lalesio on the far side finds Swain, who finds his lock partner Callum Smith. And again, he peels off another metre or two after the contact. Jackson Hope has this. This is Ben Hine in centre field. He's been pretty good today. The number 8 already. Ilalahia, well, he's in an offside position there. This is JP Minart. Can he get an offload away? He can get an offload away, but it was a forward pass to Michael Henry. And we'll come back for that offside penalty against Ilalahia.
I think Ryan Lonergan will have a shot here.
Yeah, and that's not a bad call, you would think, at 19 points to 7.
Yeah, just puts it to be on to converted if he can make it. But Len Ikitau has been really good in that first 40, and then in the first 5 here.
Good run straight away.
Absolutely.
Wasn't start the second half. Lonergan has pointed to the posts, and he'll have a shot from pretty well, certainly in front of the right hand upright, I'd say.
It's not a gimme, this one.
No, it's not a gimme. He'll be kicking from...
It's 46.
Probably 46. He'll certainly be testing out his range.
Gee, I reckon 46 is dead on, Brett.
You reckon it's dead on his range?
I reckon I've pegged that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You know, he's going to bring this down on the black dot, you reckon?
I reckon he's not got heaps more. I've seen him kicking in training a bit.
Are you calling this a crossbar challenge?
Perhaps it's going to be really close.
Ryan Lonergan.
He hits them sweet, though.
Yeah, he's kicked well today. Lonergan, he's kept it low. He's kept it well on line, and he's put it straight through.
Well, that's your big player stepping up when it counts, and gee, he had a few more in him too. Didn't hit it perfectly, but it was a little low stinger.
You've robbed him of a couple of metres.
I think so.
Vikings 22, leading Gungahlin 7 here now. Gillard gets us back underway, and Hine has this again. Goes to the air. BJ Edwards holds him up initially in contact. Darcy Swain cleans out nicely. Pass goes back for Lalesio, and he just gets this kick downfield. And Jamie Kotz was backtracking. That ball just holding up in the wind, forced Kotz back and back. He didn't know where that sideline was, Ryan, in the end. He spilled it into touch for a Vikings line out.
The only thing I can say for Jamie there is he's not the first rugby player to ever do that.
No,
get his feet tangled.
Quick line out
Callum
for the
Smith,
Vikings.
superb.
Yeah, this is Jackson Hope with a pass that Ben Hine really didn't want him to throw. Mac Hansen has this now for the Eagles, and he finds Jake Elgerson, and Michael Oakman Hunt lines him up. Does get an offload away to Ilalahia. Advantage is over now for Gungahlin. Ward has this, finds Gillard. He wants to go wide, does go wide to Kotz, and Kotz has had his second knock on in 90 seconds.
It was a tough one to take there from Kotze on the right wing. I won't blame him for that one.
Yeah, right.
Bandage over, BJ.
Right
just
idea
right in front of him,
for Gillard. Just the ball's a little bit slippery, throwing it left to right. Kotz was in a little bit of space if the pass could find him, though.
Again, it's a little bit rushed, I think. I don't mind him trying to spread the ball there, but on the front foot, with plenty of space to play into, I'd like to see him just look to play corners there.
Yep.
So much time left. Don't need to score from their own 22 here at all.
Henry throws to the back. Callum Smith takes this. Ben Hine peels around the corner, and he makes it a good 5 or 6 metres. Brought down to short of the 22. This is Henry. He's held up initially by BJ Edwards. It was high. No penalty advantage being played, though. This is Jackson Hope, taken heavily there by Gillard. and Tom Ross over the top. Lonergan goes to the eastern side of Viking Park, finds Michael Henry, who backs into a couple of tacklers, and he's brought down about 20 out. This is Lalesio, and he finds Andrew Robinson in midfield.
From behind, please.
Guzikowski plays scrum half, and he goes to Sione Towler, it was, on the blind side. Guzikowski peels around the blind and has carry himself now.
Mac Hansen.
Hansen.
It's Vikings who were pegged, but it was Hansen who got over the ball, and he's done really well there. It looked all money.
Penalised the Vikings player for cleaning out from the side, I think is the call.
You just see when they're rolling like that, Vikings, it just seems ominous. Hey, Brett, it just looks like they're not going to be stopped. But
they quickly got into a roll there, didn't they? That carry of Hines around the corner, and then to go 6 or 7 metres after the.
I really like the way that Nola Lesio and Lenny Katara are starting to play a little bit of a double act. They're just toing and froing. They're swaying all over the park looking for space together, which I really like.
Played plenty of rugby together, no doubt.
They can do that with Hope as well, because Jackson Hope's so able to step into first receiver. They can just go find space and let Jackson Hope dictate things when it doesn't come their way. So
Lesio's played plenty of 12 and 13, even in first grade as well. So the Vikings midfield giving them plenty of options, no doubt. Alex Small with this line out throw. We've had about 9 minutes of the second half played.
Great
goes
spot.
to Helgeson at the back. This pass goes behind Gillard, and Rocky Ilala here. He's taken well there before he got any steam up.
Great line.
Helgeson makes 5 metres and gets a great offload away to Sam O'Leary, I think it is. Ward comes to Conley, and this is BJ Edwards. Doesn't look to be hampered by that ankle injury. Counter ruck is good. For Tuggeranong, is it? No, penalty paid. Conley looked to go quickly there.
Gee, I think Darcy Swain's been robbed a bit there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Counter attack was absolutely superb, and then Mitch Conley came straight off his feet, but just deemed that he maybe didn't hold his, as we see. Well,
Gillard's kick isn't great. Holds up in the wind. Robinson cleans it up at the back for Tuggeranong. Goes infield to Tiuki, who gets a towering kick downfield. Gillard's there for the Eagles. Spills the greasy ball at the back, but has plenty of time. Puts a low kick in. Taken there by JP Minot. He has a go at this kicking game. Mac Hansen has it now for the Eagles. Throws a good dummy in front of Andrew Robinson.
You get the feeling that the Eagles just need someone to break the line here. Vikings putting all the pressure on in D.
This is Berthelo. Taken well there by Darcy Swain. Edwards picks up.
Tell you what,
strong.
Michael Oakman Hunt is all on his own. Just unlucky.
Yeah, knock on there. That was Ali Nahi.
First one black.
Just spilt the ball in contact, and that's just a release of a little bit of pressure that the Eagles are starting to build.
I think so. I think Eagles are playing a little bit into Vikings' hands here.
Yeah,
playing in the wrong end of the field. I know they're the team that's chasing this game, but you do yourself no favours by overplaying in this, no man's land, as we say. It's not quite your own zone. It's not an attacking zone. That's where you've got to just play the other end of the field and trust your defence.
But a simple little mistake like that puts Tuggeranong straight back on attack, so that's credit to their defensive systems working as well as it is.
Oh, it is, of course, but that's why you can't overplay in this area, because a little knock on here means perfect attacking position for the opposition.
This Tuggeranong backline stacked out to the open side here. There's no one.
It's like an all-star
on the
team.
far 20 side, 20 metres over there. Lonergan peels it out the back. Lalesio finds Jackson Hope. Lalesio peels around the back, finds Tiuki. Can he find Andrew Robinson? He might not need to. Brendan Tiuki throws a dummy. Brendan Tiuki's over the line. It's a try! Well, I said he might not need to. And Brendan Tiuki is over for his second try of the Hunt Superdry preliminary final.
Is that the one, Brett?
Yeah, is that the one?
That may very well be the straw that broke the Eagles' back, because it's a long way home now. Vikings were absolutely stacked on this right-hand side. Just the list of names alone. It was Alessio and Lenikite that combined really well. Jackson Hope down the right-hand side and got the danger man in space, and from there, has to be said, I thought Eagles could have done a bit better to slow him down, but I think Sam O'Leary, just as he was covering across, slipped on this greasy turf, and that allowed Tweaky to just go one-on-one with Hansen and
straight
Potts,
away. It put him into 5 or 6 metres of open territory, didn't it? And Brendan Tuke, as we've spoken about today, he's not the leading point scorer of the Griffin League or John Dent Cup 2018 season by accident.
No, it was goal kicking earlier on in the season, and
it's just been try after try.
That could be 20 now, I think.
It'd have to be getting close. If it's not 20, it must be 18, surely. So Lonergan's conversion, 27 points to 7, with about 28 minutes of the Hahn Superdry preliminary final left to play. Hits it well, Lonergan. It's curling around beautifully. Flags are up. A great conversion attempt from Ryan Lonergan. And they've jumped out to a 29 points to 7 lead.
I mean, next score is crucial, but it'd be an absolute disaster for the Vikings if they lost from here.
Well, it'd be a hell of a comeback from Gungahlin, that's for sure. Gillard gets us back underway, and it comes down for Ben Hine once again. In centre field, about 25 out from his own line. Michael Henry throws a little ball out the back, but he goes back to clean it up himself. Finds another metre or two to come down outside his 22. Ball goes back for Lalesio. Doesn't really look for touch, just happy to build it downfield. Hanson's there for the Eagles. He's now got Jamie Cotts back on his inside.
Plenty of space at this side.
Yeah, did well to regather there. Jamie Cotts brought down just on halfway in the end. Mitch Ward has this. Hanson's there at first receiver. He's brought down. He gets through the tackle of Lonergan and Robinson.
Penalise him, for fuck's sake!
This is Edwards and now Tom Ross. Ward finds Gillard. He jumped. Oh, Michael Oakman Hunt. It's absolutely nailed Josh Gillard there. Turnover is there for Tuggeranong, but no, there's a little knock on.
How many times have we said that today?
Oh,
Michael Oakman Hunt.
I thought he was actually through a little bit of a half gap.
It was.
Josh Gillard. Michael Oakman Hunt's come from nowhere.
But he kind of had to raise up a bit, as we see.
Yeah, 5 red.
Is that Joey Vavoda coming onto the park?
It is in number 19. It is Joey Vavoda. And I thought I heard 5 red.
Callum Smith
was the replacement number, I thought.
Oh, it's Darcy.
I'm sure I heard 5 red, but it appears to be Darcy Swain.
Well, I've had a message from our research team, let's say, to say that Darcy did receive a second yellow against Queanbeyan earlier on in the year, so not totally sure what the ruling may be. As we, with 25 to play, we'll certainly guess the Vikings will be playing in the grand final next week. But will Darcy Swain? We'll find out in time.
We'll see. We're certainly getting him off before he can
do double damage for sure.
Double damage, yeah, definitely. So Mitch Ward to feed just inside.
I just wonder,
the Eagles half.
Brett, with Eagles now chasing a score, will they look to get Mac Hansen maybe in at first receiver? Because he is a good fly half and he's an attacking fly half.
Big scrum here from the Vikings, though. Have they won this against the head? They have. Lonergan peels it out the back.
Like 15 offside.
Yeah, Hansen, the man penalised offside there, trying to get up in the face of Brendan Tuyuki, who spilled that pass from Lonergan.
Mitch Ward just got his wires crossed a little bit there, and I don't know if it was his fault, but it seemed to be that he missed his feed, and that
great timing from the Vikings pack, wasn't it?
It was.
Lesio's touch finder is good. It's real good.
That's
from
perfect.
the Eagles 10 metre line, he's put them into a 5 metre attacking line out now.
A try here seals it for me.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Ryan.
I mean, saying the obvious, obviously, but particularly with the weather as it is, 3 tries is going to be really difficult, and that wouldn't even do it. So,
down 22 points now.
You're looking at 5 then, really.
They already need 4 tries right now, Gungahlin. But the Vikings, they'll look to push it out further. Throw in isn't great though from Michael Henry, and Ilalahia has it at the back for the Eagles. This is Ray Dobson. It's an important carry as the Eagles try to work their way off their own line. Ball goes back for Gillard for the clearing kick. Ball again just holding up in the breeze, but he finds touch just outside his 22. And that just repels his Tuggeranong attack a little bit further.
yeah, just a bit of a stay for the Eagles. But, you know, I have to say, given the quality of the Vikings, that's not straight. Definitely not straight there. But, you know, with the quality the Vikings have, such a genuine effort from the Eagles to be seen in this game. And
Sione Towler with a big carry, still going the big prop. He's already got 5 points today. He was looking for a second try. Gosakowski's lost that in heavy contact from Alex Small. And the Eagles hooker just let him know about it there a little bit, didn't he?
They're 22 points down, but if there was a man of the match for the Eagles, Alex Small would be top of my list. Yeah. He's been so good.
He's been really good as the Eagles hooker. He's been great for them all year, to be fair.
He's been great for years. He's so solid as Alex Small, and you know, gets through set piece work, but in defence he just crunches people.
Jamie Kotz is getting some strapping applied to his left leg over there in the background. He's just coming into shot there for you now. What we're going to play on? Who needs wingers, right?
Well, in these conditions, not getting a lot of pill anyway.
No one.
Has George Robbo. Has Robbo got the ball yet?
Once or twice. Yeah, once or twice. Ward feeds about 10 metres off his own line. Just on this western side of Viking Park. It's a big Tuggeranong scrum. The Eagles are just edging forward in this one. Ward comes out. That's it. That is Conley. Gillard goes to Hanson wide, but he's spilled it. This is where the greasy ball and those wide passes from the Eagles, it's just forcing the issue a little bit, coming up with a few little unforced mistakes.
Absolutely, the creeks are becoming cracks now, and it's just there's a lot of heads down there for the Eagles. They're trying everything. But, you know, you can try all you want, but you've probably got to play smarter still.
It's like the more they try to get it up in this contest, the more they're sort of letting themselves down a little bit, isn't it?
It's almost counterintuitive, but you've almost got to keep it more simple when you're chasing a game sometimes, and to not force the issue.
Trying to play the territory game into this wind blowing from the northern end, blowing left to right as you look at the screen, and they just can't get past halfway at the moment, can they?
If you're going to do it, they've got to go back to being direct, and that's what got them that score late in the first.
And again, is that playing in to the Vikings' hands? They've been pretty good at the breakdown.
They have done
throughout the game today.
Particularly Luke Grzikowski, he's been all over the place in defence.
Michael Oakman-Hunt's been
as well.
Ben Hine has been prominent in the ball carrying. We haven't necessarily mentioned a lot of him in defence, but
he's always there for sure, and just showing his versatility now, slipping into lock. It's something that I know.
Ben Hine, we haven't mentioned that. So Joey Vavoda there in 19, packing on the open side of the scrum. Grzikowski has come back to number 8, and Ben Hine has shuffled forward into the second row with Darcy Swain coming off.
That's a really good scrum.
Yeah, the Eagles,
McGrath, that tight outside.
Big shove there for the Eagles. This is Lonigan. They went 8-9 off the back. This is Lolesio with an inside ball to JP Meinhardt to score for the Vikings. Great set piece try.
Perfect, absolutely perfect, and just got caught a bit cold there on the inside. Did the Eagles, but the line from Meinhardt was superb. He's been at that all day and finally gets the reward. Ikitau and Lolesio again, combining and just pulling the strings. That young pairing. Have to say, special mention to that Vikings front row, particularly Lee McGrath. It was perfect platform.
It was like a training run, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
that's
it's
the sort of set piece tries that you hope come off one day.
It's just what happens when you're forced to defend for this long, and you know, credit to the Eagles, they kept him out, but eventually it comes. And as we see Lee McGrath, we thought he might be off after about the 60-minute mark, but that's a hell of a shift from him coming in for Wagner today. He's been so good.
Been superb. The Vikings tight head and young Angus Burns in 18. Lonigan's conversion is good. Flags are up. So the Vikings are out to 36 points to 7. So just under 20 minutes to play in the Hahn Super Dry preliminary final.
That's the game now in terms of a result. But for the Eagles, they'll want to finish strong here. As you say, not quite the fairy tale ending, but they've been so good to get to this point, and they'll want to put on a performance in this last 20.
Gillard goes short. BJ Edwards is there, forces Ben Hine in the air to make a contest out of it, but Berthelo has this for the Eagles. What can they find in these last 20 minutes? Ray Dobson, the captain, he's been leading well from the front today. So as this man Helgeson carries so well, does the Eagles lock. Ward finds Tom Ross there, the young replacement prop. He's brought down just short of the 22. Ward comes short side again and finds Ilalahia, who's also brought down just short of the 22. Edwards looks infield, comes out to Hansen. Ball stripped though. They just force the knock on to the Vikings. A little bit of push and shove here.
Yeah, there was a late tackle on Hansen there.
A couple of his Gungahlin teammates just objecting there. The Eagles, well, it's desperation time now, Ryan, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the game, as a result, has certainly slipped away now. But there's still so much to play for. So see Jamie Cott's coming off. No, he didn't get a bit of treatment about 10 minutes ago, so Cott's day's done, and Dan Garner will slip into first five.
Dan Garner in 22.
Right now, Josh Gillard's lining up on the right wing. If I was the Vikings, I would be pushing it his way. He's a fly half.
Yeah, there's been a real shift here, hasn't there?
Trade.
So, Ali Nahi's in outside centre in number 20. Gillard's going out to the right wing. Luke Duffy's come to the left wing.
Fine.
With Jamie Cott's off.
Set. Both sides.
Interesting to see. That's Angus Burns against one of the premier loose heads in the comp. Hell of a test for the young guy here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's supported well, and you know, I like this from Vikings, getting the young guy a bit of experience with 20 to go. No word on Wagner's ability to play in the grand final, but they'll need Burns in that grand final if they're going to win it also.
Yeah, against a waiting Royals pack.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fine.
My mind's starting to drift to that grand final now. I'm just looking at the Viking side thinking,
well, Royals have had a few little front row number issues in the last few weeks as well, so that's not completely as cut and dry as we might think, as Tayuki puts the Vikings straight back onto attack. The little chip ahead has been cleaned up there at the back. Is that Ali Nahi got back there before the Eagles?
Was.
As Rocky Ilalahia throws himself into the clean out. Mitch Ward's not coming back for him quickly. And this is the replacement player, Dan Garner. A little high tackle there on Joey Vivoda. Certainly the home crowd calling for it. Lonergan gets a little box kick in to no one. It's going to find touch just on the 22. We'll come back for that penalty.
And I thought Luke Duffy was a little bit unlucky there. The crowd certainly baying for a penalty, but it was in the zone, so understandably he's been pegged for it. But love the vision from Ryan Lonergan there, just looking to play corners.
I like that little box kick.
Just the time he's got.
Make sure it went end over end.
He had a couple of looks and then just executed really, really well. So Callum Smith's
pointing to the post again. Lonergan will have another shot at penalty from about 41 out this time. And we know now, Ryan, that this is well and truly inside his range.
Absolutely.
We don't need to worry about knocking metres off him like you did before half-time. Or just after half-time, wasn't it? So Lonergan with a shot at penalty goal. We've got about 15 minutes to play in the Hahn Superdry preliminary final. Lonergan looking to put the Vikings out to 39 points to 7. Lonergan eyeing off this kick. Hits it well again. It's goalpost bound. Touchies are unmoved and the flags are up. Lonergan puts the Vikings out by 39 points to 7. So we've just got a few little changes coming on here.
I'm looking forward to seeing this. Seamus Smith coming onto the park. It seems the young halfback, he's got so much talent, and it's interesting to see how he'll go now at senior level.
So Ryan Lonergan has stayed on.
Yeah, he's just warming up here on the touch line,
just down in front of us,
below us here.
Ball's back for Alessio. It's passed back. He won't kick it into touch. Just belts it downfield. Again, his kicking game today, Alessio, has been wonderful. Conley, well, he's forced into a little chip kick over the top of the defensive line. It's gone out on the full. And it's...
word with Seven Black about his timing on the follow-up.
Hearing their assistant referee on the far side talking to James Morris.
9 red.
Good chat there from the
Here's that change you were talking about, Ryan. It's Seamus Smith in 21 on for Ryan Lonigan. Lonigan's been wonderful today for the Vikings, hasn't he?
I'm sure we'll be talking about it very soon. He'll be high on the list.
Yeah, featuring heavily in the Alvonaphone man of the match conversations, you would think. Well, you would think, because we've just said he would.
Yeah, you would do.
Yeah, I keep forgetting we've got to make that decision. This is Ilalahi off the back for the Eagles, and he finds 10 metres. Can he put the Eagles back on defence? Berthelo finds his captain, Ray Dobson, back on his inside shoulder, and they're inside the Vikings half. Hansen, he's in at first receiver. BJ Edwards, he's still going. He's definitely hampered by that right ankle
Can't believe
injury.
He's still going.
It's slowed him up a little bit, definitely. This is Tom Ross, the young prop. Alex Small there for the clean out. Ward comes open side. Conley puts the ball on the chest of Ray Dobson. Literally, he didn't get his hands up, the captain. Robinson, he's leading this chase ahead for the Vikings. That little kick ahead from Smith. Good idea from the young scrum half. Robinson thought, definitely gave him the sign there, didn't he?
I mean, the quality visible straight away.
Yep.
Turnover ball, had a looked for options wide to play ball, and then made the right decision, executed perfectly.
I think we've got some changes here for the Eagles.
Yeah, Simon Anu coming onto the park. We'll see. I imagine it'd be BJ Edwards coming off.
Yeah.
Or is it Rocky Lilla here?
Well, there's a little bit of confusion here at the moment.
Well, someone's got to come off.
Who's coming off?
Oh, it's Sam O'Leary
coming off.
Well, Sam O'Leary.
So Simon Anau.
Been one of the best for Gungahlin Eagles in 2018.
The Eagles have done the old jumper switch on us from what they gave us before the game, which is always good fun. I'm glad you're here, Ryan. Now, line out didn't go entirely well for them, the Eagles. They're having to run their way out of their own 22 here now. This is Garner with a nice little dummy. Finds another couple of metres. This is Ilalahia, brought down beautifully by Gerzakowski and Ben Hine. They're making hard work of this here, the Eagles.
Definitely a bit of needle out there now, as you can see.
Yeah,
the push and shove has put...
shove here now. Play carries on, and Jake Helgeson, well, he only knows one way, and that's forward. He's been wonderful for the Eagles today. There's an intercept here for Gerzakowski. The Vikings straight back on attack here now. Smith in at scrum half finds the captain, Callum Smith. 15 metres in. This is Lalesio in centre field. What can he do? What can he spark? Finds Jackson Hope, who peels back around into centre field. He's brought down by Mitch Ward in the end. They're about 18 metres out, the Vikings. This is Henry trying to get an offload. He does get an offload to the young prop Burns, who scores under the post, and that seals it surely for the Vikings now.
Oh, they'll get right around Burns. A great finish there too.
Angus Burns, the young tight head, is in for the Vikings.
Yeah, Eagles just getting involved in a bit of push and shove, and then Vikings staying to task, staying alive and sealing the victory, and they're marching now into the grand final.
They really are. The Vikings 44, leading Gungahlin 7 with about 11 minutes to play. And Michael Henry is getting great ovation from the home crowd here.
Another chance to see
slaps on the back from his bench.
As we see the score, starting to get out of hand, but another chance.
Black has been called out here now, and that would be as a result of that little push and shove from a little earlier.
It's Rocky Ilala here.
We'll listen to James Morris here.
You had to punch the player in the head, the red card.
It's a red card. It's a red card to Rocky Ilalahia. Did I hear James Morris say it was a punch to the head?
He did, yeah, that's exactly what he said, and it's coming. is coming apart now for Gungahlin.
Yeah, it really
in the
is.
last 10, and it's not the way they'll want to finish.
So Tiyuki with the conversion. He kicks it.
Penalties and tries aside, they'll want to finish with dignity and with the heart that they've shown to get here. So disappointing to see Rocky get sent off there for an alleged punch, from what we've heard. But Gungahlin have got 10 minutes to leave a good impression on 2018 and to get prepared for 2019.
So Tuggeranong in these next 10 minutes need to make sure they're not drawn into any of that sort of thing.
Absolutely, it's a great point.
Waiting for a grand final next weekend. It's a scrappy old restart. This is Michael Oakman Hunt bursting through. He's been wonderful, the Vikings back rower today. He finds it was a young Lonigan, and Michael Oakman Hunt, he's going to sail towards the post, is he? Scores under the post. Michael Oakman Hunt, a well-deserved 5-pointer in the preliminary final.
The second on the day.
Well, it's really falling apart for the Eagles now, and again, we've got a little bit of push and shove.
Yeah, Vikings just doing their talking with their football here at the end. Michael Oakman Hunt straight through the middle. Gee, his athleticism on show as he's galloping with 10 minutes to play here. And then how about young Lachlan Lonigan, the hooker, on for the Vikings.
First touch of the game. Hadn't even made a point of saying he was on.
But yeah, the young hooker, superb.
Yeah, just ran that great line up through the middle.
Found Oakman Hunt, who was streaming through to score.
Sione Towler coming off here in the foreground. He's replaced by Ben Pratt in 17. Another young prop coming on for the Vikings. Nick Scrivener, he's ringing the changes now, isn't he?
Yeah, and I like who he's bringing on as well. Guys that, I know Ben Pratt is a real club man for Vikings, and he's a guy that might play, 200 minutes of footy on a Saturday. So for him to get a run at first grade here is a big thing for him. And how about that front row for Vikings youth, and just Lachlan Lonigan, mate. I don't know if everyone knows who young Nossie Lonigan is, but remember the name.
Yeah,
because this guy is going to be, if he continues on his path, brother of Ryan, of course.
Younger brother of Ryan. Yeah,
he's the next big thing for me. He's such a talented footballer, and if he keeps progressing, you're going to remember that name for sure.
Still just under 9 minutes to play here at Viking Park, and Hind takes this well from the restart. The Vikings leading 53 points to 7 now. Alessio, well, he just gets this ball downfield to Mac Hansen. And the Eagles fullback, well, he's been valiant today. He's tried a lot of things. Some of them have worked, not all of them. Certainly hasn't gone all his way in the face of enormous pressure from the Eagles today. Dan Garner was filled in back play here.
I think Ben Pratt will be walking.
Ben Pratt. And Alex Small just remonstrating here now.
Well, I have to say, given, look at the scoreboard, that's, this is enough.
Ben Pratt, he's just given Dan Garner a quick shake of the hands, but his day is done now, Ben Pratt.
I mean, he was
on for 3 minutes.
He'll be a hero in the Vikings bar tonight, I'm sure. But Vikings won't want to pile on at all here, and they're doing their talking the right way with their footy, so they won't want to do any more of this stuff. As you see, Morris.
James Morris having a word there to Callum Smith and to Ray Dobson, just to say, getting a word to both teams that with 8 minutes to go, the last thing we need is this descending into anything resembling a farce.
I can tell you there's a small to medium-sized collection of people down below us here who would be glad to see Vikings get a red card or get someone who's got a couple of yellows. So they'll just want to calm things down here. As we see Callum Smith, I love that leadership, just getting around his boys, saying we've got this game.
Calling his team in, saying let's get on with the rugby.
Well, yeah, from their perspective,
we've got to finish this well. We need to make sure we're right.
Make sure we're
with a full contingent for selection next week.
If I was Callum Smith, I'd have just got everyone and said, and pointed to the scoreboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Said that's where the talking's been done.
Yep.
Like to see Eagles just finish strong.
What can they find here in these last 8 minutes of play here. 7 minutes 30, in fact, here at Viking Park. Alex Small to feed this line out. Throws to Helgeson at the back, who has been wonderful. Oh, Simon Anhau again meets a Michael Oakman Hunt special. Ward peels off and he's claimed quickly. And once again, there's just a little bit of a pile on there.
Mitch Ward has just been absolutely levelled there
By a tackle that I didn't think was particularly high or anything, but it was Guzikowski, I think, that brought down Mitch Ward.
I just wonder from the angle, was it slightly high? I'm not too sure, but he's blown it up, I think, for safety reasons more than anything.
No.
Mitch Ward is still down there.
It was ugly.
Play.
It was definitely ugly, Brett, and I'm not sure if it was high, but he certainly went down as if something serious had happened.
So James Morris is going to... I wondered if he might have called his assistant ref there on the far side end, but he seems to have had a good view of it. Ward's up on his feet again now.
Will it be? I'd imagine it'll be a scrum here for the Eagles.
Yep, scrum's called.
Great refereeing there, just to blow things up with nothing on and a potential injury. I love to see that.
Quickly regain control of things there.
I'm sure he won't want to be mentioned as we see Michael Oakman
Hunt. Well, as I mentioned, he's been...
I don't know if he's got a pair of headphones, Brett, but...
I've got a suspicion he's about to get some.
If he's listening, I wouldn't go buying any this weekend, Michael. I think you might have a brand new set.
Yeah, we'll get Nick Scrivener to pass that message down through his 2-way. Sione Towler is back on for the Vikings.
Mitchell Ward coming off for Matt Clifton, young scrum half. He's such a good kid, and he's got a great demeanour about him, as well as being a real hard footballer for a
some
halfback.
Good experience in ones this year too.
Yeah, he has done lately for sure, and he's since Isaac Fines left the Eagles for greener pastures in WA. He's had to back up for ones, and he's going to be a player for the Gungahlin Eagles for a long time, I think.
And now picks this off the back. There he goes himself in the end. Ball spilled out the back there. It was cleaned up in the end. I think it was Mac Hansen it was. The Eagles, with just over 5 minutes to play, can they find another 5-pointer in the Hahn Super Dry preliminary final? This Tuggeranong defence looks well set though. Ray Dobson, he's there to pick up. Small it was with another little pick and drive. Ball's inside the Vikings 22. It's Conley with another short side raid. They're doing this at a metre or two at a time. Dobson, the captain, now has it.
And this is what we love to see.
Small picks it up, and again, they're just taking it one carry, 1 metre at a time if they need to, the Eagles. They've got penalty advantage now, the Eagles. What can they turn this into? Clifton gets a little grubber kick ahead. That's Josh Gillard playing wing on the far side. And we're going to come back to the penalty.
I just can't help feel, Brad, if they'd have done this for a little bit longer in this game, how much different it might have been. Yeah. Not a game-changing style, but they've been really good in tight.
Back into the game.
They've been really good in tight when they've kept the ball. So
it certainly would have been handier at 12-0 and at 19-0 than
I think so.
Than the
53-7. I don't know if it absolutely reflects the game, but having said that, that's been the story of Vikings season a lot.
Yeah. And it's the Tuggeranong that we've come to know.
I think so.
When they get their
team that maybe
their foot in the door, they start kicking with the rest, and they really try and blow games out.
They don't dominate like a Royals in terms of keeping the ball for 80 minutes kind of thing. They're a strike team. They're a weapons team.
Yeah, their ability to turn defence into attack and into points is certainly right up there in terms of the best teams in club rugby around the country. The Eagles, they're still trying to try hard here for 5 points valiantly. This is Alex Small, who has been really, really good for the Eagles. Clifton goes wide through Garner. What can he do? The replacement scrum half.
Lachlan Lonergan, what a tackle.
And desperation stuff over there from Gillard too to prevent the turnover. Conley with an important carry keeps this ball moving forward. Hansen in at first receiver, and Ray Dobson again was levelled by Ben Hine. It was Hansen playing a lot more at first receiver now for sure. He's brought down about 5 short in front of the posts. Conley with a crash ball in front of the posts. The Eagles, they're edging their way forward. This is Nahi. He kept on his feet, trying to get those legs pumping. Jake Helgeson there with an important clean out. BJ Edwards, well, I don't know how he's managed to keep going through this game. Conley's dropped this ball, and we're going to come back for the penalty advantage that James Morris was playing. Go straight away is the call from the Eagles assistant coaches off to my left. But this Vikings defence has been wonderful all day, and it forces them back again. Tom Ross has it this time. Edwards in there with a bit of clean out assistance. Clifton finds Hansen again. Ball spills out the back there. They're on the roll again through. Oh, great ball thrown over the top to Luke Duffy, but he's just spilled it in the contact.
Well, Eagles can be proud of this effort in the last 5, but love to see that from Vikings. Not wanting to give an inch. Not saying that we've got this game sewn up, that, you know, maybe they fall off a few tackles. Absolutely not.
Keep their defensive systems in alignment.
It's really, really impressive. And I just want to say, we haven't mentioned him a lot in defence, but the influence of Ben Hine on this side in terms of the collective effort has been absolutely superb. We just saw it there.
Yeah, that really strong tackle on Ray Dobson, wasn't it?
It really was.
As the Eagles captain looked like he was going to burst through a tackle, it was Ben Hine, who, as we mentioned, celebrated a 1-year extension with the Brumbies this week. That he admitted, Ryan, he wasn't entirely sure midway through the season when he was stuck in the rehab group, often by himself. He wasn't entirely sure whether that extension would be coming, and he was just pleased to be able to announce it there on Thursday.
The will was always there, I think, for Heine to play for the Brumbies again, but it was just whether maybe he had to prove fitness in the NRC. But I think,
and he actually admitted that the NRC he sees now as a 9 or 10 week opportunity to prove that he's ready to go for the Brumbies off season.
And I think he does look ready.
Yeah, he's been wonderful today.
Just Ray Dobson coming off the park there. He gave absolutely everything for Gungahllin's cause today, and a special mention to him over the last few weeks. He's really led from the front.
He really has. He's been literally front and centre as the Eagles have climbed their way into the finals and into the preliminary final this weekend. We've got about 90 seconds left in the Hahn Superdry preliminary final. Royals, there's been a big contingent of them here in the Viking Park grandstand. Well, they'll know that they'll have a hell of a battle next weekend against Tuggeranong.
Well, they've just been able to maybe regather a bit of confidence here today. Been able to get more into their style of play. And I think so. And, you know, now they get the benefit of being on a roll going into a grand final. It's a
really good point.
We've been gifted the grand final we wanted, I think.
A week off is handy at this time of year, but gee, a 50-point win to preliminary finals, a hell of a statement to make, isn't it? This is Brendan Tuuki, and maybe it's not just 50 points. Tuuki is still in a bit of space. Can he link up with JP Minot over there? Ball comes loose at the back, but it's play on through Jackson Hope. He gets a little bit of a grubber kick, and can he win the race to this? In the end, he has Jackson Hope. The Vikings aren't done here yet. Seamus Smith finds JP Minot, is it, or is it Andrew Robinson in?
Andrew Robinson
gets a try. The Vikings are in once again in the closing seconds as the rain comes down a little bit heavier here at Viking Park. Andrew Robinson gets a well-deserved try, it has to be said.
And that's the script written. Vikings from defence
into attack,
lethal,
into
absolutely
points.
Lethal. Seamus Smith there, just a little special word there. Just a collective. He collected himself so well. Could have been forgiven for just looking at the line there and going, my name's in lights, I'll get on the score sheet. No, he just waited. He could have been
excused just for pumping it into touch and finding the flag.
Yeah, and he didn't. He waited, and it was absolutely perfect for Robinson, and he provided the finish, and that's the game now.
Yeah, great to see Jordan Jackson Hope just giving Seamus Smith a little bit of a head. Just get it down there. I'll get down there and get the ball down there. I'll win the race. And again, as we've mentioned, they've turned defence into attack, into points. And that's why they were the minor premiers in 2018, Tuggeranong. Brendan Tiuki's conversion from the sideline is going to hold up in the wind, but is it there? No, it's pushed left. And that is full time in the Hahn Super Dry preliminary final. Tuggeranong 58 have run away with this in the end over Gungahlin. 58-7 the final score here. And the Vikings, they're through to another grand final against Tuggeranong. Against Royals, I beg your pardon. Getting tangled up here now. Tries in the second half. They led 19-7 at half time. Did Tuggeranong. It was tries to Tiuki, to Minart, to young Angus Burns, then Michael Oakman Hunt and Andrew Robinson there after the bell to finish it. 58 points to 7 it was. Well, it was 14-on-14 in the end with a red card to Rocky Ilahia and young Ben Pratt, who was on for about 90 seconds before he got his yellow card. And so the Vikings are through to another grand final. Ryan, we need to give some serious thought to a Vodafone man of the match. Ben Hine has been wonderful for the Vikings. So then for Gungahlin, I'd say Ray Dobson, Alex Small.
Yep, sure.
And with special mention to BJ Edwards, who, as I mentioned before, I really don't know how he played out this game because he looked like he was running on one leg there before he got some treatment. But our Vodafone man of the match today, who are you going to go for?
Just another little mention for Nola Alessio and Lane Ekate in the back line. I thought those two were really, really superb, but we can't deny him. I think Michael Oakman Hunt with his try-double and
some defence at times, some bone-rattling defence, but some really important tackles in the middle there as well.
100%. Michael Oakman Hunt, well-deserved, I think.
Yep. So Michael Oakman Hunt is our Vodafone man of the match, and he wins those Samsung wireless headphones that I'm sure he will enjoy. Tuggeranong are through to the Griffin Legal John Dent Cup Grand Final. They'll play Royals here next Saturday, August 18, and I'm sure we will have a huge crowd here at Viking Park for that. We will be here next weekend for a huge day of rugby to conclude the Griffin Legal John Dent Cup 2018 season, culminating, of course, in the Hahn Super Dry Grand Final. But that is a wrap from us here at Erindale. Thanks for your company on Bar TV Sports. For Ryan Murphy and the team, I'm Brett McKay. We'll see you on Grand Final Day.